Hello and welcome again to this week's online youth video. So last week we talked about the parable of the prodigal son, the return home that was met with the father's unconditional love and the frustration of the older brother. Today I want to move on to another story. It's perhaps most familiar to me as a VeggieTales story, and perhaps it is to you as well. But I'll share the actual story first. But before we do that, I need to tell you a little bit about the historical context. The people hearing this story are Jewish. These people are from the line of David, chosen to be God's people, and the Samaritans, well, they were foreigners. They came from the descendants of people who were not good to the Jewish people. And to make matters worse, they built their own temple. And even though what they believed about God was very similar to the Jewish people around them, this was seen as an attack on Judaism. So they were hated by the Jewish people. There's a lot of history here, but it is important to know that there's a mutual hatred between these two camps. So as we get into the story, Jesus is talking to some people around him, and he is reinforcing this old commandment to love your neighbor as yourself. And someone sets him up beautifully by asking him, well, who is my neighbor? It sounds like the guy's trying to get the easiest way out. He's doing a test and trying to get 51%, enough to pass, but with as little effort as possible. So Jesus, instead of answering him directly, tells a story. So I'm going to read that story for you now. So it's now talking about the religious scholar. Looking for a loophole, he asked, and just how would you define neighbor? Jesus answered by telling a story. There was once a man traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. On the way, he was attacked by robbers. They took his clothes, beat him up, and went off, leaving him half dead. Luckily, a priest was on his way down the same road, but when he saw him, he angled across to the other side. Then a Levite religious man showed up. He also avoided the injured man. A Samaritan traveling the road came on him. When he saw the man's condition, his heart went out to him. He gave him first aid, disinfecting and bandaging his wounds. Then he lifted him onto his donkey, led him to an inn, and made him comfortable. In the morning he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, "Take good care of him. If it costs any more, put it on my bill. I will pay you on the way back." So what do you think? Which of the 3 became a neighbor to the man attacked by the robbers? The one who treated him kindly, the religion scholar responded. Jesus said, "Go and do the same." This intelligent Jewish religious man couldn't even bring himself to say the word the Samaritan was his neighbor, because it was so unthinkable. Jesus didn't just let him off the hook and say, your friends and your family are your neighbors, so do your best to love them. Instead, he says your neighbor is the person you hate the most. The people who have been really, really bad to you in the past, those people are your neighbors. So go and treat them well. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this on Wednesday, and we may even watch a little bit of VeggieTales, so get excited for that. But in the meantime, I just want you to consider who is your neighbor? Who are the people that you are called to love as yourself, even though it is super hard? I will see you all on Wednesday on Zoom at 7 p.m.